Alright, what's up yins guys? Time for another video. I'm gonna do another one, but unlike showing you these, which I've been showing you already, I'm gonna show you the instruments that I was using way before I was buying these. And the benefits from them. Hold up, I got them up here. I'm gonna show you them. Okay, like these, I got two of each. This is made out of stainless steel because as many years as I had them, they're still shining, they're not oxidizing. Aluminum is lighter and it oxidizes and turns. Let me tell you where I got them. I worked at a scrapyard where I was able to get them at the price like somebody were to sell their scrap for. They kind of cut me a break, and I want to tell you that because if you work in a scrapyard, no stealing, ask them. Or you don't work at a scrapyard, I would recommend you go to your local scrapyard and see if you want to ask them if you can see some pieces of solid bar. And by the way, those don't rust either. And I got two of these, which I gotta clean a little rust off every now and then and shine them up, but you notice that I got tape here for grip even though I use gloves. And anyway, these a magnet will stick to. The other ones I show you a magnet won't stick to. And the reason why I'm bringing these up, people like a woman in Summer Huntington, for one, uses maces and she uses clubs, but this is your alternative. Say you want to get 10-20 pound maces. These weigh about 20 pounds, by the way. And in fact, my 25 pound steel club weighs more than this, believe it or not. And yeah, that's solid metal. And like I said, you go to your local scrapyard, you can ask to buy some of these of different sizes and thicknesses. And this is basically, if you want to go and see what it costs for a 10 or 20 pound mace, these are, I would regard as maces without the ball on the end of them. And you can go to your local scrapyard and get these for astoundingly cheap if you ask. Instead of going in to sell scrap, you might be looked at kind of funny asking to buy. And they'll sell it to you, but instead of like, and this is a hell of a lot less. Say you want to get a 10 or 20 pound mace anyway, go look on Amazon or anywhere and look it up. I was eventually going to get maces that are bigger, but I really don't need them because I got these. And you can also use certain kinds of tools, like say when you do use a fence post digger with dig it out both hands, you got that thing with a blade on the end of a heavy metal bar, you stab in there, loosen things up, and then you take your fence post digger. And it's also used for a lot of other tools. Since yeah, my workouts revolve around industrial work and a lot of work, and incorporate that in there. I'm not just a workout person like everybody else, I'm different. Plus I don't make no money off of what I'm doing. But anyway, I got two of each. So that's like instead of your maces. And the advantage and different advantages with these, when you go to buy yourself these, if you can afford to buy them, they're top heavy. You're going to get a lot more weight over here for cranking the wrist. And what I just showed you too, you can get that same top heaviness, but you have control over it too. But unlike the club here, that leans more like, say, if you want to buy a mace instead of one of these, and look up what you want to pay for these and maces. You can buy things at a scrapyard and ask for it and obtain it. Say you don't want to pay $150 to $200 for what I showed you there. The 25 pounder you just saw there. 30 or 50 pound, you're going to be paying 100 and from 150. You can pay damn $300 for a set of maybe 50 pounders. I mean, you buy them, you choose to buy them in twos, but they'll sell you them singles. But you gotta specify buying them in twos. So two of the 25 pounders I showed you, that may have costed me about like a little under something like about little under $300 or something. I don't totally remember, but yeah, you can get pretty pricey with that. That's why I'm showing you what I did. That was also in my intro there too. I was showing you in the intro to these videos, but yeah, I'll show you two of these first. Yeah, not much different, the same way. Just do your cranking. See, I'm holding it by this, but then you can hold it by the ends too. Same way you see, for example, Summer Huntington with a mace. She's holding it by the very ends, the bigger ones. I recommend that, you know, you do the lesser thing first, you know, before showing off and doing extra. See, same thing. Got the balance going on. Then you can go like this, and then like this. Hold on. That's when you got more control. And that's not perfect there, but do this maybe to the length of a one of your favorite tunes, the music you're playing, and then your shoulders and your forearms will be really cranked up, put it that way. Then, you know, do the same thing too, like your Conan sword, you know what I mean? Yeah, or like this. Yeah, there's not a hell of a lot of damn near the same thing as in the other videos. There's not a, it's a no-brainer. There's not a hell of a lot of explanation that I have to do, but other than be mindful and be careful, like when you are like this, be able to let down gracefully without smacking yourself in the leg. Swing just like the pendulum. And always too, before do a lot of this before you do this. Don't gotta spend a lot of time in this and make it a real long video, but I've seen it in the other videos where I did it for an entire song. But I wanted to show you these because these were what any of you guys that know me already know, but I was using shit like this before I ever splurged and bought myself the steel clubs. And this is a cheaper alternative to buying yourself the clubs or the maces. And I said too, you know, this weighs the same, but they're nice and shiny. And then I used to get some sarcastic comments from anonymous people like a couple years ago, or some people that are nicer. They don't know you. They see you using them. They call them pipes. Well, not really. Sometimes ignorantly, or if you pay attention, no. Why the hell would you use pipes? But I do. I would give them one thing. There is a very heavy gauge pipe that is pretty heavy. You can get a couple of pipes that are a little thicker than this, but they're actually pipes, and then heavy gauge and not thin. You got conduit, you got electrical conduit, then you got different gauges of pipe. But yeah, why the hell would you want to use pipes? I mean, it's like solid metal here. That get the other one. Yeah, these are kind of interesting too. They don't pick up with a magnet, and they kind of make a ringing sound when you... Aluminum doesn't do that. This is like stainless steel, unlike my other ones I showed you. I can store them anywhere. They're not losing their luster, they're not oxidizing, they're not rusting. So if you can find shit like this, whatever it is, some solid stainless, very good idea. Where something that's steel, you might have to maintain it, keep it clean, and put lightly oil it or something, and scrub it with a rag. You know, you don't want to make it slippery to grab. You got, I guess, for the sake of not rusting, you know, or anything, you know. But shit like this is steel, and the sound you clank with it, well, it rings too. But anyway, these two, a magnet would stick to. The other ones I showed you do not stick with a magnet. They're heavier than aluminum. They definitely ain't no aluminum. I would put them alongside of these, you know, in a... Yeah, I also talk about the non-apologetic reasons for using these. I tell you to be mindful and, you know, not have bad intentions, but I'm not going to deny either your right to train with these things, what you're actually training for. And it dovetails into, or and it's categorized as the right to bear arms and defend yourself. You're training with heavy instruments, just like some of the ancients did, for defending yourself, or way back when people fought with swords and shields. Okay, you can look a lot of that up, but it's like one of them things. I'm not being apologetic, and I'm not denying, but I'm not going to encourage or egg on anybody to not be mindful and be practical, and not be bludgeoning, not suggesting to bludgeon anybody for stupid reasons. But see, when you're using stuff like this, the weight is tapered up here, but just keep cranking for the length of your favorite song. You know, I'm just comparing, say, if you can't afford, or you are too cheap to buy these, or you just can't afford it, them are the Maces. There is the cheaper alternative, which I still like. Because it says always be where if you don't have control with the littler ones, don't do things like this. Or if you want to hold it like down further like this, that's a little bit more advanced. And sometimes if your hand wavers, just be able to let out down gracefully. But training in this way, you know, with you're holding it by the very end like this, you need a lot of practice and proficiency. And hold it. Yeah, and you can feel every muscle in your forearm and everything flexing when you go to do this too. Yeah, there was other people I saw on YouTube. One particular person I don't see anymore that was using maces for a while, but I haven't seen them on here anymore. But Yeah, I don't want to go on and on about that, but yeah, there's one or two YouTubers that were on there briefly that I kind of miss you, never seen them, or, but, that use these a lot. All right, that one down here, that one down here, but, all right, I just giving you the basic comparison, and I want to tell you about other options, because my message here is you can train this way with these things even though you can't afford to buy the actual maces. If you're in an industrial place or a scrap yard and you have access to such things, it should be religiously and ritualistically incorporated into your lifestyle to improve your lifestyle. Say you have to do something and go to work. And before I end this too, I'll remind you, no stealing. You ask them to buy it. Like I worked at a scrap yard. They sold those other things to me for like, basically it amounted to maybe a couple of dollars, maybe a little bit more than, say you were gonna buy scrap metal, which usually some places like to charge you by they like to pay by the £100 if you were to go and sell scrap. And plus there's other laws later on, nothing to do with this video, about people that obtain scrap against the law to sell it at a scrap yard. But yeah, I'm one of the only ones around that ever worked in a scrap yard. Instead of selling, I was working in one and buying. And you can do that too, you know, go to your local scrap yard and see if they'll sell you some solid bar. I mean, it's a hell of a lot cheaper than the Maces. I mean, it's the same damn thing if you think about it.